Why is treatment important? Well, the simplest answer is, well, look around. Take a look at your life. If you don't like your life and you're addicted to opiates, opiates are part of the reason you don't like your life. In fact, I don't know any person who was addicted to opiates, hated their life, and was able to fix their life and fix everything that's going on while holding on strongly to that addiction. It just doesn't happen. Using opiates and being especially addicted to opiates so profoundly changes how you live that many things get ruined. And I've said it several times, and I guess I'll keep saying it. You turn your back to the world, you isolate yourself. You put yourself at risk of real bad diseases that have nothing to do with mental illness, that have nothing to do with addiction. A very close friend of mine who is also addicted to many different drugs, opiates just one of them, said to me that this is in a moment of kind of, I guess, turmoil and regret, that he just can't understand why the drug he loves the most doesn't love him back. And I think that if that's how you feel, then you know that treatment is necessary. Again, I also know that even people that are thinking this are also thinking, well, maybe now because I've gone real bad, but at some point, there's a fantasy of how can I integrate this drug I love into my life anyway? Like, isn't there a way I could just be okay? There was a time I was kind of okay. I was using it, I was kind of okay. Truth is, it's not going to happen. Not because of anything that you lack, not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not strong-willed enough or motivated enough or clever enough. It's just the byproduct of how the drug works in the brain. It's a byproduct of how the more central areas of the brain dictate our behaviors that have nothing to do with thinking. And we could try to think on the topic all we want, but the reason we do a lot of things in life, drug use being just one of them, is based on something much more central to be a driving force, much more central than thinking alone. Thinking is almost a superficial secondary process. We first need to do something, and then we create the thought that explains why we need to do it. And that is exactly what happens with drug addiction. That is exactly what happens with opiate addiction. We're going to get the drug, we're going to use the drug, and we'll come up with a reason how we stumbled over that guy who we once knew and how that drug came in our possession. We needed to get it for a friend, we weren't going to use it, they gave us some extra, it's only this one time, it doesn't really mean anything. Whatever the case may be, it's always secondary. The central part is, there's a part of the brain, and the nucleus accumbens, the ventral tegmental area, the amygdala. These are the areas that are central in addiction, prefrontal cortex, and so on. And it's these areas that are going to say, look, something's missing. You usually have this thing around that makes everything work. We need it. We need more of it. We need a lot more. You better go get it. And then you go into action, and then you just do. And you become this kind of, this pawn of a much more important process in the brain. And I guess what people typically don't realize is that being able to think in this particular sense is a hindrance, because we're thinking, but it doesn't mean anything. We're going to go get the drug. And you know it. If you've been using, if you're addicted, you know it, because that's exactly what you've done time and time again. What is intended for you to get out of treatment is to get your life back. That's what we hope to be able to give people back, is their life, is their experiences with families, is their experiences with loved ones, it's the experiences of success, whether it's professional or personal. It's being able to feel normal without having to use a drug to get there. One of the things that's always touching is when I have patients contact me not too long into treatment and say, I can't believe it. I feel normal, and as much as I knew you told me that was going to happen, I didn't think it was going to happen. Sure, I had initial side effects, and I was scared, and it was bumpy to begin with, but I can't believe I feel normal. Well, if there's one thing I could, promise in some kind of soft way, is that with the right treatment, you will feel normal, and you won't have to be addicted to get there.